Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to Play It Panda Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. And here we go with another one of these. So tonight we're going to be finishing up Mythic Battles Pantheon. I actually have the last 6 miniatures that are just about all good and done. And since we're in the final lap here, I had been planning on doing, a skin tutorial. That was part of the plan. And it was going to be kind of a live tutorial, but that is not going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and just do one here as sort of the final deal to Mythic Battles Pantheon. And you can see I have with me right now Aphrodite, who is by far my favorite sculpt in the whole line. And we're going to do some painting of her skin, and I'm also going to show you kind of the similar thing on the same model. Now, there are I have quite a few different methods of doing skin, but the one we're going to show tonight is kind of the basic, I guess, the layering technique for doing skin, and there are a lot of great YouTube videos that are already made on layering. I would strongly recommend watching the painting clinic instead of this one if you are watching this one on record. However, if you like hanging out with me and you want to see a mortal do the layering technique, well, you're at the right place. So that is what we are going to do tonight. As you can see, I've already done a base coat and I've done like the details on the face and whatnot. So that's already looking pretty good. And frankly, this isn't like, you could stop here. If you're just if you're just painting to get these done, which in a lot of ways I am, you could just stop right here, and this is just fine, right? You just paint the rest of the miniature, and you're good to go. The rest of the miniature is rather simply designed, so you don't need to do a whole lot from here. But I'm still going to show you how to do this. Now, one thing is I am not going to show you some of the other methods, and some of the other methods are like using contrast paints, which I do need to do at some time. Show you guys actually how I do skin with contrast paints. And that's dependent on a lot of different things in this method. And then I can also, I guess at some point, show you how to do skin with oils. But tonight, we're just going to stick with the basic stuff, right? So we are going to do skin layering on this model, and then I got this model here. And then who knows, if I get bored, I still have some other models that I could throw paint on to do this. So let's talk about what you need to do this technique. And this is using your standard water-based paints for this. And we'll get into the paints in a second. But what you need, what I strongly recommend if you're going to do this, is you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a wet palette, and you can see this is I usually don't have my wet palette on camera, but I wanted to show you this on camera because mixing and thinning the paints is a very important part of this process. So you are going to want to see that. So strongly recommend a wet palette, and then you're going to want a good brush. A good sable brush, I recommend. Sable mainly because it's a softer brush and the paint's going to flow off this a lot better than it would a synthetic brush. Don't get me wrong. I've seen plenty of dudes make way better skin than what I can do using a synthetic brush. And I use a synthetic brush for oils, but we're gonna use a sable brush for this latex method. Okay, so wet palette, you need a sable brush, and then you're gonna need your primed painted and base coated model. I could just show you how to base coat because that is important, so I will show you a little bit of that. And then you're going to need paints, right? So this is really where all bets or everyone's system changes depending on what paints they have. My system changes all the time just depending on what paints I have available to me. But this has been the tried and true formula for me. Is I love this paint. This paint is fantastic. This is Game Color, Vallejo Game Color Extra Opaque Heavy Skin Tone. And I love to start here because this is a fantastic paint. So if you see this paint, buy this paint. It's super good. You know, people use Scale 75, people use Reaper, people use P3. Those are all good paints. Just, you know, you have to understand them a little bit differently. So the Reaper system in particular uses they use 3 different colors, and a lot of paint companies now do that. They do paints in systems of 3 for skin. Basically, an undertone or a shadow. In this case, this would be fair shadow, and then you would have fair skin, and then fair highlight. I'm not gonna go dig in my paints and find them. Well, here's fair skin, right? So you could go fair shadow, fair skin, and then fair highlight, and you'd end up with a super pale miniature if you go that route. So the Reaper system is very good, and that system also relies a lot on, you know, basic layering and highlighting. I like when I do this. So that's another way. We talked about contrast paints briefly. There's actually systems that you can use with contrast paints, and I hope to cover those one day. And then there's also just paint and wash and highlight, right? So there's some good skin washes. P3 Flesh Wash is good. And in fact, I like to keep P3 Flesh Wash handy in case something goes wrong with my layering technique, okay? Flesh Wash is a fix-all. It can fix a lot of things in your layering as you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna do something a little bit different though, at least on Aphrodite here. I don't think I'm gonna do it on the smaller miniature because it may not mean as much. I actually want to have this model have a bit of a rosy tone. I mean, she is the goddess of love and romance and the ocean. So we're going to start with some rosy skin, and this is where we would normally do like a base coat. So this is going to cover a lot of the model, but you can see the model is already base coated. I just want to get this reddish tone on here, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, I did leave this off of the materials list, but here's the thing. Thinning is like super important to the layering technique, and you can thin with water, and that's great, but it also, the dangers of thinning with water is that can actually, it means that your paint, if your paint isn't mixed well, or you know, if it's conglomerated or the pigments are clustering, that could leave for a chalky surface, right? So I like to use glaze medium. I like to actually, hey, David Leff, I would like to actually just use this here. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna let's see. So I like to thin with glaze medium. You can also thin with thinner medium. You can thin with matte medium, which works excellent as well. I'm just a fan of glaze medium, and then if necessary, sometimes if the paint is just a little too heavy, sometimes I'll throw in some flow improver as well. All right, so I'm going to show you how I mix this paint. So starting with glaze medium, I'm going to put some glaze medium here. I'm going to refresh my chat box, so we'll be able to see some chat. Let me just refresh this. There we go. I can't see it that well, so you're just going to have to forgive me there. But you can see, put out some sorry, I'm getting a message. All right, I'm painting right now, so all right. Anyways, so you can see I put down some glaze medium there, and I'm going to add almost a 1-to-1. I like to do a little bit less than a 1-to-1. Right, so about 3 drops into about 5 drops of glaze medium. Okay. and then we're going to mix this up. Again, mixing paint, the paint is like the most important part of this layering technique. Now, normally if this is a base coat, you can see that ratio is pretty high, but I'm still going to mix this really thin because I want you to see how thin these layers really are. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so there's the rose paint right there, or the rosy skin, I should say. And I gotta move this cord. Things in the way. Sorry, guys. All right. And this is just gonna go down, and it's gonna be a nice thin color going down. So you see I'm gonna apply this really thin, real light too. I'm applying with a really light touch. Another thing to note is when you're brushing this on, try to keep your brush strokes in one general direction, and you're just kind of pushing that little puddle of that little puddle of paint around. Right, so I'm going to push all of this from. I like to start from the top of a surface and then push my way down. Okay, I'm going to let a little bit of it settle there on the top of the tip of the nose, and this is the rosy color, so I'm going to let this kind of settle into the crevices and that sort of thing. All right. Okay, so anyway, we'll keep pushing this down. And this is a base coat, so this would actually, you actually want this to cover as much of the model as possible. Now this is where things, already people start to get a little nervous about how things go down. Hopefully you and your family are doing well. I will catch you later. He's going to be up early. Okay, have a good night, David. Because you get worried about that paint chalking up, or you get worried about it clumping. Just do a nice thin layer over the whole thing. Another thing I need to point out is because this is so thin, you see how thin that is on the paint, on the brush there? I'm going to take my brush, draw it across the top of my cloth, twisting the brush as I go, and that leaves me a nice fine point. Okay? And with the fine point, and that's what you apply. Make sure that you apply big, generous, we'll call it generous amounts, like generous, a generous wet coat. You want that whole area that you see, that section that I just painted, I want that whole area to be wet from edge to edge. That's super important. You don't want edges drying on you. You want to maintain what we call maintain a wet edge the entire time as we're painting. Okay, so you see how thin that is. I'm going to push that all the way down. Right? And you see, too, that I'm not taking too many strokes. It's another issue people have. If they take too many strokes, they can leave brush marks in the paint. And you do not want to do that. Right? So big, full coat here. And because this is mixed with glaze medium and it's super water thin, this is going to leave a very, very thin, semi-transparent layer. And that's what we want, okay? If you want to sidestep this, if you wanted to shortcut this, what you would do is you do your base coat and then hit it with a rosy wash. Rosy wash being like flesh wash, like I just showed you from P3, which is my favorite. You could also do things like Reichland Flesh, which is a little more brown and red. So just be aware that Reichland Flesh is going to be darker and deeper. Do not, under any circumstances, use Vallejo Skin Wash. It's a Vallejo ink. Do not use it on actual skin. You're just going to have to trust me on that one. It's a very orange color, and it's just not good. Okay, it's good. Skin wash from Vallejo is fantastic for certain things, but skin is not one of the things. So anyways, so This coat, because it's the other thing is because it's glaze medium, it's mixed with glaze medium, this is going to take a little bit longer to dry. So always have something else you could be working on while you're doing this. And I'm just going to work on her a little bit. And I lied. I guess I will give her some of this rosy skin. It's such a light color, and it's not really doing anything. But you see, once again, you don't want to play around too much with this. You want to get a nice full coat. You want to be going one direction, and you want to just basically allow that coat to stay wet. The key here is you need to do this to ensure that all your layers dry with a very smooth finish. Okay, you don't want chalky looking skin. You don't want rough skin. We're aiming for very smooth skin with nice transitions in it. Okay. So your brush technique is somewhat important here. All right. Looks like she stepped in some mud, part of that sand. All right. So yeah, you give this a little time to dry. That's still wet. It's not, frankly, it's not quite the rosy color that I want. So I'm actually going to add, and you could see that I fixed a mold line there, and it didn't really fix here. But you can see it went all the way up, and I had to fix that. I actually want to add a little bit more rosy color to my rose color. I know that doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna look for something that should give me the color I want when it mixes in here. Okay, so I'm kind of looking for a decent ruddy color here. Okay, so this is sunburn flesh. This is pretty dark. I'm gonna mix some of this in because I want. Ooh, I really gotta mix. Hold on. This is the scary part. There is no such thing as overmixing a skin tone. Skin tones are heavily pigmented. You could go with this sunburn flesh, which I like. If you're in scale 75, you can go with Indian Shadow. But I'm going to go sunburn because I love the flow improvers in Reaper paints for skin. Reaper paints are among my favorite colors or my favorite paints for skin. Okay, so I want this to be a little bit darker and a little redder. So I'm going to add some of that in there. You can see I added maybe a little too much, in fact. That's okay, because we're going to layer back, because we're enjoying painting tonight. All right, we're at the end of the project. We're just enjoying the last bit of this. So I'm going to add 3 more drops glaze medium. Let's mix this up. And you can see that's actually a really, really wonderful color there. Now this color, you don't need to, I could have used this as a wash, but this is a much better undercoat color. It's a much better shade color there, okay? Super thin once again. I'm not going to apply it to the forehead or really even that much of the face because this is all going to be, I'm going to correct this with the, I'm basically just going to layer it back up to the color that it was at. Okay, but same thing. Just don't overdo it. And watch the eyes. You got to be careful when you're brushing around the eyes. You want this color to be very prominent here in the shaded parts of the model, so underneath the neck. And any place where skin meets clothing, where it meets hair, where it meets jewelry, that's where you want this. Okay. All right. That is much better. You can see how, now imagine that I'm layering up from that color, and this is going to look quite nice. I am not going to use this color on the smaller model because I've kind of already gone. We're just going to go a different direction with the other model just to give you kind of a different starting point. But we're going to use a lot of the same paints because I'm lazy. Full disclosure. All right. So again, it's most important to maintain a wet edge. Now you're still going to get little bumps and nicks and things from priming and that sort of thing. Here's something that actually works that I use for when I'm using, say, contrast paint as I'm actually trying to use contrast paint as a finish coat. Like, actually as a contrast paint, the way they intended it. You would do your priming as normal, but because contrast paints have such a short working time, I strongly recommend using like a satin varnish on after you've primed the miniature, so that the contrast paints give you plenty of working time. Because with a contrast paint, you're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to want to keep a nice wet edge over the whole surface that you're painting. Otherwise, you end up with brush strokes. You end up with basically bad times. Okay? Don't do it. All right. All right. Cool. So we'll let that dry for a minute. Oops. You can see, I already screwed up an area here. So this area here, I did not get. And again, you need to maintain that wet edge. All right, so maintain that wet edge there. All right, while she's drying, let's do something on this model, and I'm going to paint the robe on this model while this is going, while that next layer of glaze is going. All right. We're going to give her kind of like greenish robes, so I'm going to use Plague Bearer Flesh. Oop. And so I really like this particular technique for painting skin because this is the cleanest technique, and I think this is really, when you want to do skin right, this is where I would start. I would start by learning this technique and then start to incorporate some of the other things later. I'm also painting female skin because, frankly, female skin is harder to paint on miniatures than male skin is. The reason why is because there's less muscle definition. And when you are used to painting models that have very complex shapes and textures to them, these smooth edges from female skin aren't always the easiest thing to figure out how to shade and highlight. You don't have these nice clean edges to just run your brush across and pick up a highlight color. You don't have these deeper recessed areas of like muscle tone where muscles crease into the rest of the flesh where your washes, and those kinds of things will just perfectly shade whatever it is that you're painting. So female skin is a lot harder, but in my opinion it's way more rewarding because you get to do like these kinds of cool techniques on it. And these are very cool techniques. You don't like, for me, this is way more fun than painting power armor. Like any day, I would take this any day over painting power armor. This is super fun, and it gets even more fun when we start looking at other techniques like painting with oils. All right. So we'll just do this. Could be it for maybe a short, quiet night on YouTube, and I'm kind of down with that. Now, truth be told, there's a little sliver of skin running down the back of the model, because this is really like almost just a towel that's draped over the model, but I don't want to paint that in right now. I suppose I could show you how to fix that when you encounter it, because you absolutely will do this when you're painting skin. You will 100% do this. You will miss an area that was skin, or you'll skin something that it was not skin. So there is a stripe of skin down her back that we didn't get. Easiest way to do that is we're going to shortcut this a little bit with our heavy skin tone, and I'm not going to make a glaze out of it. I'm just going to make a good solid, like basically a 1-to-1 with water, because I want to put that in, and then what I'll do is I'll kind of accelerate the highlighting such that when we get to that part, ooh, yeah, it's a little too thin. Like that's perfect. I thinned it like I was going to layer it, but I'm not going to layer this. So all I need for this layer to be is opaque and smooth. It does not need to be, super fluid the way your layering stuff is. And in fact, there's a little section back here too, it looks like, that I missed. All right, so I'm just going to paint that little stripe in where his skin is. In fact, you could even just leave it like that. Most people will not see, but let's say it was a big section, like I missed an entire arm or something like that. Then yeah, you would start back with the basic flesh tone or basic skin tone and work your way through the model. Okay, so this layer of glaze is now dry on Aphrodite, and now we're going to start to work back in. I'm going to abandon rosy skin in favor of the color that is closer to the end target, which is this color, Fair Shadow. Jeez, I cannot get this cord to stay up here. I just want it out of the way. All right, so Fair Shadow. And all we're going to do is we're just going to keep adding. Oh, that's not the one. Hold on, guys. I am using Fair Shadow, but I wanted to stay in the same bottle that I was in earlier, just to make sure it's like 100% consistent. All right. Yeah, that's not it. It's starting to bug me. Hold on. Nope. I guess I'm gonna have to use this. That's a bummer. Because I lose paints all the time. Anyway, just make sure it's nice and mixed up and that this isn't going to give me any trouble. All right, so a little bit of Fair Shadow in there. So we're going to mix this up. Well, glaze medium. So from here, the ratios are just 1-to-1. Every time you add, the number of drops you add of your highlight color, same as the number of drops you're going to add with glaze medium. So you want that to be 1-to-1. You can see the colors there. The color there is getting lighter, right? And that's a pretty good layer. All right. So same thing. And this pink is giving her a really nice, sanguine look to her skin, right? She's the goddess of love, folks. She should have some really wonderful skin. Right? This is going to go over 90% of the model. And how many coats do you do? I don't know. When I'm doing this technique, many. So I'm just going to say that. A lot. I use a lot of layers when I'm doing this. And you can see just how smooth it keeps everything. It's what you want. You want super smooth. Right? You want that to flow out nice, big, full color. I haven't really broken off yet to do the mini layers. So it's a pretty full layer this is going down as. Okay, so one layer like that. Okay. I mean, if I wanted to, I could continue to work on this model. I'd have to mix up a different skin tone layer, but she's actually looking pretty good. She's just going to hang out until the very end of this process. All right. I guess what I'll do while it's, like I said, you can continue to work on other things while those skin layers are still drying. You can work on, you can work on hair. You can work on weapons and that kind of stuff. We're gonna let this. Actually, we're gonna let that dry. And I'm going to show you some of the other stuff as we wrap it up. So here's that Medusa scorpion thing, which is super cool. Really enjoyed painting these Mythic Battles Pantheon. I'm going to grab some tufts. We're going to do like yellow flowers on this last set here. Oh wow. That's one way to get all that white glue off the bottom of your cup there. Man. All right. So let's do So I'm going to put a fresh set of glue back in here. And we're going to start doing the tufts on these guys. I guess she should have a tuft like right there. Let's do a tuft right there. Right here, I guess. Right. Do one right now. I hope that doesn't obscure too much of the front part of that model. But well, I've got an ogre also. So you can see the ogre kind of has that, a similar version of that skin technique, but it's not as well blended because of the definition in his muscles. I'm going to give the ogre a regular, like a proper bush. We also have the phoenix. So here's the phoenix, right? You should have a burning bush for the phoenix, but no, we don't have that, right? Because he would have caught the... If he flies by a bush, it's catching fire, but that's okay. And then finally, we have Bellerophon. Bellerophon is super fun. There's a little bit of work I could do on Bellerophon while we're waiting, but let me throw these, throw the tufts down. Bellerophon will get a nice, fun red flower thing. Okay. All right. So there's that. There's this. This is the very last of the tufts. The army painter tufts. We're going to put that here on the ogre. Right. Let's give that to the ogre. Let's give now one of these yellow flowers to Medusa. I really need that to stay. Stay put. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then let's do also yellow flower to the phoenix. Okay, phoenix. And then let's do a nice red flower for Bellerophon. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to do. I also want to do the flowers on her. Well, maybe not yet. Let's do some more skin on her when the time comes. But anyways, you guys are getting to see the end. Those are the last miniatures for Mythic Battles Pantheon, the Pandora box, and this will wrap up the core box and Pandora's box. All right, this is looking pretty dry. I know it's here we are. We're in this process now. We're gonna keep adding more fair shadow to this mix. If you want to, you could like spread it out like that, like go off to the side there. Oh, I don't think you guys saw that. Go off to the side there. Add a little bit of glazed medium. Mix it up and let's rock. Right? So I'm going to kind of keep this area here a little bit lighter because we are going to forge ahead to the closer to the final color. So we're going to start. So we were at about 90% on that last layer. We'll go just a little bit smaller on this layer, like 80%. Right? So again, full wet coat, thin brush in a direction. And the goal is try to keep these layers as smooth as you can. And then after this layer is down, we'll talk a little bit about washes. Washes in a standard layering technique like this, you can incorporate just fine. Or sometimes if you really want to stick to this method, use washes as it's almost like an insurance policy, right? Okay. And I know right now everything's so shiny on screen, you may not be seeing the transition. You may be seeing a little bit of the color change, which is great. But you may not be seeing the transition. Obviously, this method takes a bit of patience, and I usually only break it out for like I mean, before I used to use it all the time, but these days I break it out really for stuff like this, where it's like, okay, that's going to be a lot of skin. So a lot of skin showing on this miniature, and it's very, very smooth skin. And it's very important that I keep the integrity of the sculpt. So therefore, I will employ a layering technique to make sure all those transitions are nice and smooth. I also, the other thing I really like about doing this with all these layers of glazes is that it keeps the skin really, really vibrant, like really vibrant, and it's got a nice sheen to it. I like that a lot. Okay. Ooh, a little too much there. So because it's semi-opaque, so but I put down a lot. I mean, a lot of paint. This is where things can start to go wrong if you over apply. You got to be really pretty gentle with this stuff if you want it to, and I'm over brushing that. Right, once again, smooth all the way down. Okay, that's good. There. You can see at the start of the program, I mean, we're already getting close to where that skin was at the start of the program, but now you have this pinkish layer that's building. That's quite nice. All right. Let's go ahead and paint the black rims around the other models. Oh wait, before we do that, I actually need to do a little thing on Bellerophon here. I got a couple things to work on with Bellerophon actually. He's looking a little plain. He's cool, but he's looking a little plain. Do a couple things on him. So for those of you who are taking part in the July Painting Challenge, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're progressing the way that you hoped to, and that you're enjoying the process, most importantly, right? So there we go. A little edge highlight there on his, I don't know what to call this. It's like a double-sided javelin. Somebody will know. Somebody in the chat will know what this is. All right. Okay. Yeah, let's do a little work on this dude. I'm gonna use a little scarlet to highlight the. Well, hold on. Before we even do that, let's highlight the. Let's highlight the gold, and I could use NMM gold base, which is not a terrible idea. Or this is actually a nice little gold highlight here. This bright skin highlight. I could use that. Some people really kind of freak out at the idea that you would use, hey Sean, that you might use something that's labeled skin for a not skin portion of the model. Or conversely, you would use something that is not labeled skin for a skin portion of the model. It really doesn't matter, folks. It's just what matters is that it's the correct color, right? This I'm just going to thin with some water because we're not layering it. It's just a highlight layer, okay? So I just wet my brush essentially, and because this is Reaper, you don't have to thin it nearly as much. And we're just gonna do an edge highlight. Right? Okay. What are you working on, Sean? I know you have a lot of paint projects going on as well. So I guess I should ask, are you working on a commission? Something for you or something for them? All right. Yeah, I just need this to, get a little edge highlight on all these little plates in here. So weird angle because I'm working around a Pegasus, but looks like I was able to get some edging down there. It's got a little bit of a lion, like shoulder pad deal. Working on the butcher. Do you remember how you worked on yours? That was a long time ago. Are you asking about the brown? Like the owl, the Court of Owls brown? These days, I didn't use contrast paints on my Court of Owls, but these days that seems like ideal because there's so many good browns in contrast paint that you could totally do that, right? Give them a base of Wraithbone or, or off-white, and then do the ones you want. All right, so I'm getting this edge highlight down. There we go. Looking pretty good. Was it brown or black? Oh, I did mine brown. I think I've painted one before that was black. I did mine brown. Okay. Let's do a highlight on the... So since you guys are watching a layering technique live, you get to see all these little side projects that you do while you're waiting for layers to dry. Isn't that fun, guys? It's another reason why I always work on multiple models at the same time, because sometimes you're working on techniques like this. It's going to take some time, right? All right. Ooh. So this scarlet is a nice bright red highlight. And I am totally cool with a little bit of friendly exaggeration right here. And then just kind of let this guy do its thing and or calm down. Right? And then we'll highlight the robes. I just went red robes basically over most of this model. But yeah, you see how like, oh shoot, I hate that. Just a little bit of red in the wrong place, and then you gotta fix it, and it becomes there. You can't even fix it. It's already dried. Hold on. I'm just gonna pull the water off of that fix, and then I'm gonna mix a color to hide that red spot back there. It's gonna have a little bit of this light gray in it, a little bit of light gray, a little bit of white. And you mix that together, you get this nice high hiding, very pale color that you can blend into this and cover up that spot. Right? Just gonna cover that up. You see how that's just a white splotch right there? That's why you need to mix in the light gray. All right, light gray will blend that in a lot better. Okay, so we'll let that feather it out. Feather out the edges of it. Okay. All right, looking pretty good. All right, now I can paint the rim black, or I can, the other thing I can do, which anything I should do, because Bellerophon looks a little boring. I'm going to give him a very minor highlight on the base, right? Just bring a little bit of interest on the base. All right. This is all, like I said, this is all just side quests while the glaze is drying. So another reason why I was going to do this live, because if there were like questions or anything about a specific stage, you could be live and answering that. So here we go. But it's all good. All good, people. Here we go. Okay. There's Bellerophon. Oh, I'm ready to go with another layer on Aphrodite here. So I'm not going to add anything else for now for this stage, because I want this layer to pop a little bit more. So I'm going to double up on this color. Right. And again, getting about 80% of the model here. And the thinner you go, the more layers you do. The more layers you do, the smoother your transitions. This layering technique is like classic water-based miniature painting, as far as I'm concerned. It's just a good fundamental technique to get down, right? I would consider it an intermediate technique, whereas, you know, dry brushing and edge highlighting is probably more of a, you know, beginner level technique. Layering, just ever so slightly more advanced. Not by much though, guys. Not by much. You are capable of doing this. We all are. Okay. Another nice little layer there. And we are almost back. We're almost back at the tone where the smaller model is. All right. She's still looking good. Still looking good, Aphrodite. All right. On to, let's finish on the black rim stuff. So Phoenix here, very simple. I always get the theme song to Battle the Planets stuck in my head anytime we talk about Phoenix. The fiery Phoenix from G-Force, better known as Gatchaman, or Battle of the Planets, if you watched it in the US in the 80s, where they added characters that don't even exist in the Japanese version. Looking at you, 7 Zark 7. Anyway, there's that. And I can do... Let's do the Scorpion. The Scorpion Medusa. Scorpion Medusa with additional Scorpion claws on hands. So it's like a Demonette, a Medusa, and a Scorpion all had this love child. And that's what we're looking at right now, folks. Oh man. The project after this, the commission I got coming up, man. I'll show that at the end of this once these are all done. Aphrodite's done. So good, you guys. Okay, where's that? Agree on Gatchaman? Yes, Gatchaman is a fantastic show. Here's an ogre. Look at that guy. So nice to be finished up with this Mythic Battles, man. So nice. It was a great project. Super rewarding. I felt like pretty much every model, every miniature painted was very nice in terms of its quality. And fun to paint. It's just fun to paint this kind of stuff. Alright, so now we got a big old collection of Mythic Battles Pantheon. And I think we're ready for our next layer, folks. I know, don't get too excited. Here we go. Alright. So you can see, I don't know how many layers we've done so far, but super nice, smooth transition. Let's add more of the juice to get loose, which is Fair Shadow. Shake it every time, dude. Just be crazy about keeping everything smooth, okay? That's the key to layering. Be neurotic. Be neurotic and make sure that every layer that you put down is gonna be super smooth. All right, I'm gonna add a lot this time because we're going big, folks. We're going big, and when you go big, you gotta make sure the liquid's gonna work. All right. And you can see how I just eat through glaze medium doing this, right? I'm always shopping for glaze medium because glaze medium is your lifeblood, dude. When you do layering, if you want to do layering and you want to do it well, and you're not as good as other painters, because I'm definitely not as good as other painters. See how that water, oh, pull this into frame so you can see. See how that flows? Just flows right back into itself. See that? Very thin, very low surface tension. That's what you want. That's what you're trying to get. That's how thin that paint is. And, you know, the thicker you go, the more dangerous it gets that you lose your smoothness, right? You really are going for the most smooth. Woo. Aphrodite had some weird shaped eyes, I will say that, on this sculpt. So we had to kind of make that work. You can see, even though I keep telling you guys to go smaller and smaller on your highlights, the face is still going to have large portions covered by each layer. Like just know that. All right. And now we're going, what were we, 80% last time? This time we're going to go closer to 75%. Now with female skin, you never really go below 75% coverage, because there's a lot more contours. There's less of those harsh angles and like really deep folds, the way like a lot of muscular male skin is. Now, muscular female models, obviously that's not true. You can use a lot of those same techniques. I would still kind of keep them, you know, just base it. Well, forget the gender of the model. Just base it on the shape of the skin, right? Because yes, there are female models that are extremely ripped, extremely muscular, and so your layering technique will be different than a model like this, right? Similarly with males and other models. So just pay more attention to the shapes, I guess, right? There aren't a lot of deep recesses or muscle folds on this model. All right. So I'm going to build lightness this way. All right. See how quick the actual layer goes on super quick, though. It just takes longer to dry. And you can see how far along we are. This is now light enough for me to, I might as well throw another layer on her. She got a little pug nose, this one. Because I want her skin to be pretty smooth as well. Okay. So if I was just thinning with water, the upside would be I could just keep going, right? That layer goes down. By the time this layer is done, you can add a little more lighter skin, keep going. You're going to try dry brushing gold for now on the butcher? Oh, cool. Okay. Should work, as far as I'm concerned. Let's do her hair. Let's do her hair. We're going to start the hair with Skeleton Horde. Because, yes, my Aphrodite is going to be blonde, and I know what you're thinking. Not a lot of blondes in ancient Greece, but this is my vision of of Aphrodite. Okay, guys? And I like blondes. Full disclosure. All right. So you're going to dry brush gold on, I mean, I'm thinking just the armor pieces, right? Or are you going to dry brush gold on like the whole deal? It's such a nice pale blonde color. I want it to have a little bit of a deeper tone to it. This thing goes like this hair goes all the way back, down the back of her, down her back. Dang it, there are words in there. Okay, on the armor pieces. Pieces only. Sounds good, dude. All right. Yeah, this is a very fun model to paint for me. Like this is very much my jam here. As far as, you know, the types of models I like to paint and the types of techniques I want to use. This model does very, very well. Okay. Oh. Oh, I just knocked a paint off my desk. Sorry, guys. Ugh. All right. We're very close. I want to do one more layer, but I want it to be super, super light. So, I'm gonna go in with a very light color. Pretty sure I actually have Fair Highlight here, which is one of the lightest colors of all for this in the skin tone. This is actually the fair shadow I was looking for earlier, but I need to go lighter than that. Where is my fair highlight? There it is. Okay. Right? So, like I was saying before, guys, you have in the Reaper system, you have fair shadow, fair skin, and fair highlight. Right? That's how Reaper does it. They do it as a tri system for skin tones. So I'm going to add this fair highlight. Which is a super light color. All right, and we added that to the mix. So now we have a very, very, very light skin color. All right. So now, like I said, we're going to keep this just on the smallest highlight, which is still a majority of the face. And you don't want to overbrush this. All you're trying to do is just make sure you got another nice smooth layer on there. There we go. Making sure I'm not leaving these giant like spots open on the face. Okay. I need to like shrink the whoops. Shrunk the lip a little too much on that side. I'm just gonna back some of that glaze off there. Whoa. To be careful. I don't want to get too far into the actual wet paint and screw up the wet paint. All right. And so now it's like I'm just gonna kind of see, I'm just sort of gently spot applying this highlight, right? Because it's going to I don't want to have brush marks. I want it to kind of flow together like that. All right. So again, kind of concentrating this on the higher areas of the model. Oh, there's mold lines drive me insane when you see them. Ah, it's so late in the process to grab them. Just hurts. It hurts, man. And I never catch them all. It just drives me crazy. Almost had a paint accident. Uh-oh. Don't have a paint accident. All right. And this highlight layer, when you do this highlight layer, you can do this highlight layer multiple times if you don't like how this turns out. I think if you did a diligent job on the layering, you're gonna like how this turns out. Right? Ooh. Getting a little hand cramped here. Okay. And then likewise over here. Doesn't take much, a little bit of paint. A little bit of paint. Spread it around. Make sure it lands in the highest spots. And with this being so thin, these layers being so thin, the transitions are going to be crazy nice and smooth. It's going to get real funky for you. Wow, that was a 90s rap reference, which I know. I know you guys don't get those references. Sorry. Anyway. There we go. I think this looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. I'm just gonna do, just because I've got the paint, you don't have to do this obviously. This model was actually done a little while ago, but hey, let's just do the same, let's do the same final highlight layers on this model. Layering to that degree on a model this small, not terribly significant, right? You wouldn't have to do that many layers on a model this small. Although this model does have a lot of skin, you don't have to be quite that extensive on it. But I want this model to have a very smooth, sleek appearance. I want her skin to be also very smooth the way Aphrodite's is. Which I know I can't do that because this sculpt has a lot of like dings and stuff in it. It's not going to be quite as smooth as Aphrodite. But it's okay. She's Aphrodite and this one isn't. So I guess the god wins out. Okay, pretty happy with that. How are we doing here? Pretty good. Does she remind you of anyone? Who does she look like? Who does she look like? You guys tell me. She looks awesome, if you ask me. I don't know who she looks like, but yeah, she's great. All right, let's do one more layer. Well, actually, I need this layer to dry a little bit, so let's do a tuft on this lady. And let's wrap up the smaller model. And we'll just shoot the breeze while we're waiting. Actually, I can actually start on the clothing and all that good stuff. In fact, I might as well. I think if I could put a tuft down on her right now, and it probably not gonna affect my painting much. This is Aphrodite, so I do want to do the red flowers. And let's do like let's do little purple guys on her. Oh, she's just like yelling over a bush. And then Aphrodite. All right. So quiet in the chat. Very quiet evening. Everyone just winding down their weekend. Getting ready for that Monday. Did I tell you how dope the Guild Ball tournament was yesterday? It was hotness, man. It was good stuff. It was fun. Not just because I won. Wait, I won the tournament? What? I did. Now, kind of rigged because Longshanks wouldn't take Kevin's score in the first round. It took me 4 tries total to get it to take his score. But by that time, the pairings were screwed up. I know, a likely story, right? Just so I didn't have to face Kevin in a tournament. But no, what happened was, and we were questioning it like the whole day. Like, why did he get, because Kevin got the pair down, he won the first game, I won my first game. And then he got the pair down and lost. He lost in the second round to Regan, which is, it's tough to beat Kevin. So hats off to Regan for pulling off that thing. Kevin it snapped a 15-game winning streak that Kevin has had with Falconers in tournament play. Now that said, I don't think it shows up on Longshanks because it's just this was registered as a friendly tournament only. So I don't think the results of yesterday affects our player rankings. So anyway, yeah, what can I say? It was interesting. All my games were super fun though, and I can run through the games. But yeah, first game I played against Reagan, so Reagan was playing Order, and I was playing my Alchemist. I took basically a 3-0 type team, so I took Midas Nausea, Vitriol, Crucible Kami, and O Calculus. So I took so I have O Calculus in there as the foil for Order, because her blind and her access to free blind is such a nice thing to have against Order, specifically against Seasoned Spigot, because he's defense 3. So you can really shut down Seasoned Spigot by using O Calculus. I did manage to get, I think, 1, maybe 2 blinds off, and it was a super close game. I think we ended 12-9 or something like that. We almost both clocked out, but it came down to the game. It came down to the last goal. Midas hit in that game. I think Midas hit 2 of the goals, and Vitriol hit 1. I forget. Crucible, meanwhile, been missing passes all day long, and that was very upsetting. But luckily, still managed to pull off the win there. But that was already a great game. I wasn't expecting to win that game, to be honest with you, because the last tournament I lost to Reagan's Order with my Alchemist, but was able to pull it off. Second round, I played Greg, who is a player from Inland Empire, so he traveled south to come game with us, which was awesome. And Greg was playing a farmer's team, which is generally my nemesis, right? Too much Kevin Thresher over the years has really traumatized me to farmers. But it's no secret that farmers is one of the worst matchups for alchemists, because they're so good at just either ignoring or mitigating the condition game, right? I was expecting to see Thresher, Harrow, Millstone, and then basically whoever else you want, right? Windle, if you want Windle, Jackstraw. Kevin likes to play Thresher, Harrow, Millstone, Bushel, and Greg took a football-y farmer's team, which was cool. So he went Grange Peck. Oh, I always expecting Peck against Alchemist. Grange Peck, Bushel. He took Amber, which is awesome. I'd never played against Amber, and Millstone, and Windle, right? So Windle really in there as the main takeout threat. And then, really his idea was kind of lock the ball down until it's time to outball the Alchemists. So it wasn't a bad plan. I was just expecting Harrow in there because Harrow's so good, and expecting that Peck, the Peck heroic play to really just mess up my plans every turn. But luckily, I was kind of able to stay ahead of the Peck activations. And and I made it a point to kill Peck. I think I killed Peck twice in that game. So it went well, I guess is what I'm saying. Second game went well. I want to say that game was 12-4 or 12-8. So a very good game against the Farmers. And then, I'm expecting. So we're like, well, what happens now? Does, Kevin goes on and wins 2 games. His next, I'm sorry, he wins game 2, and Reagan wins game 2. And it's like, well, I've already played Reagan, so I should definitely be playing Kevin in the final round. And again, Longshanks did something weird. Well, it didn't actually. It just didn't take Kevin's score, so it assumed that Kevin was not playing in the top part of the bracket. So Kevin kept getting pair down. So Kevin got a pair down, and then I played Bing in the final round, which was like didn't make sense to any of us. Like, wait, Bing did win his game. I think he won his first game, and then dropped his second game against Reagan. So we were not. I wasn't expecting to play Bing. I was expecting to play Kevin because I'd already played Reagan, right? So, um, so, so I get matched up against Bing. Bing wisely plays pretty much all anti-alchemist tech, right? Cutlass, Culverin, Burnish, Cast, and Cutlass, Culverin, Burnish, Cast, and I think it was Furnace and Iron, right? So Iron as the ball trap, Cast exploding people, and then you had Cutlass and Culverin kind of soaking up conditions, and then also putting a lot of range damage and rough ground on the board. So definitely going to be an uphill battle. That game, I think Bing ended up clocking out, and I ended up with like 3 minutes left on my clock, and just barely pulled that one off too. So that one ended 12-9 in my favor. Was able to get, and he had Culverin in there, or Cutlass in there, as like a true goalie. So uh, she she was using goal defense for a lot of the game, and then just messing me up with high damage AOE's and rough ground on the board. Let me see. I think that game I managed to. I missed a goal with Crucible because Crucible was off the whole day. And then I made goals with, let me see if I get this right. Midas. I want to say it was Midas had one. No, Midas did not have one in that final game, did he? He didn't. Who was that? So Vitriol. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, Vitriol scored one, and then Kami missed one. No, Kami hit one. Yeah, Vitriol hit one. Kami hit one, and Midas got a takeout on Cast, and VCat killed somebody. VCat killed Burnish. So that was a 2-2 game that pushed me into the 2-2, and I got to play, and big contributions from basically everybody. Like every player at one point stepped up during that game, even with Crucible missing. She missed a goal and like a critical pass in that game. So Crucible had an off day overall, but it's okay. We did well. Ended the day 3-0. Super fun, and just looking forward to more Guild Ball, because why not? Oh, thanks, Sean. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Hung out with the guys, and then also got to talk Batman, get people hyped over Batman, and then while all this was going on, Yvonne graciously cut all my, or most of my cards for Batman, which was like so nice, because I would have killed myself trying to cut all those cards, and apparently she loves that kind of stuff. So good. I'm just glad that I benefited from that. Right now I'm cleaning up the cloth, and I'm cleaning up all the stuff that is not skin, that is going to be painted other colors, right? So she's got this little circlet on her head. She's got a lot of jewelry. Oops. She is goddess of the sea. So I'm going to be using blues and greens and stuff for her. I've been kind of conflicted. Like she's the goddess of love. So red is a nice one to do. Maybe even like purple or pink. So there's a lot of different options here. I hadn't thought this through this far. I know that, well, let's look at this kind of in pieces here. It looks like this crystal necklace would be fantastic if it was blue or blue-green. Okay, blue-green. And what does that go with? It doesn't really go with red. It would go with a white robe. So what if I went a really nice yeah, what if I went blue, gold, and then the jewelry was like turquoise? Right? So I did, so her outfit could be, what if her outfit was that nice, that really nice Archillian green to give her that blue, blue-green ocean look. And then I did the jewelry in like a deep, in like that Talisar blue. That might be kind of nice. That might be kind of nice. Let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah. Let's see how that looks. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, it was a super fun tournament, and I'm just glad that everybody was able to get games in, and it's good seeing everybody after so long. Yeah, let's do Archillian green. Right. The other option is to go super pale, but no, I want to give her ocean color. Well, hold on. What am I doing? Let's look up Aphrodite on the internet and find out. So if you were just watching for the skin tutorial is over. She looks great. Now, if I screwed up, you break out the flesh wash and you wash the entire model, and that will help quite a bit. But anyways, go Aphrodite. And let's look at images of Aphrodite, if there's any colored images. So it's a lot of pale colors. You know, you can see that she is the goddess of the ocean. Hey, look, that has her with blonde hair. So I'm not totally off base there. But here we go. So here's a image of her with like a bluish dress. It's kind of nice. You could probably do something like that. Here's one in pink. Also kind of cool. Not so sure. Well, let's see. Blue there, blue there. There's a little red there. I guess we're not 100% consistent about what colors. But yeah, blue, pink, red, white. There's more pink. There's green. Okay. Hey, Nelson. How's it going, man? All right, I think we are gonna go with Archillian green because I love Archillian green. Just it's like a gorgeous color. Absolutely love it. Wait, before we do that, actually, though, let's do at least some of the gold work in this Nazdrag yellow. Right. So basically, all of the bands, the band part of the necklace will be this gold color. Whoa. Gotta be careful about hitting too much of the skin. And there, that'll be blue. And then this, she has kind of this weird little armor She has like this armor cup underneath this one side of her gown, which will be gold. And a little seashell pendant there in the center, which will also be gold. And then this cup kind of extends around this side of her outfit. So it kind of goes around there. Okay. And then, so it goes around there and then it extends underneath here. I'm not sure why Aphrodite needs a push-up bra. I mean, not a push-up bra. This is like it's like a miracle bra. It's an underwire bra. It's kind of weird. I mean, she's Aphrodite. Okay. A little gold section there. She's got little gold ringlets around her bicep. More gold ringlets back here. And do gold bands in her hair. What have you been up to, Nelson? Other than you came and hung out with us yesterday, that was cool. Got to see some of the guild ball in action and talk some Batman with Chris. Always good. And do the hilts of her swords. Okay. Did I get all that? Oh man, that mold line. Driving me crazy. Driving me crazy. Okay. And then you got gold. Kind of a gold support thing around the waist. You guys tell me what color you think her little gown should be. Chores and time with your grandpa. He taught me how to use a few things in the house, which was awesome. That's nice. Awesome. That's good, man. Good. That's good Asian activity, Nelson. Listening to your elders. It's good for all of us. We all need to listen to our elders a little bit. But I know Asians, we preach that pretty hard, right? Respect for your elders. And I think it's a great thing. You almost spilled all your afterburner? That would suck. Uh-oh. Look at this. I missed this whole hand here. We're gonna cheat and make that work. At first, I want to get all this gold down. All right. Do I want to? Should all of her straps be gold too? All these little laces, should all those be gold? I don't think so. In fact, I kind of like that I don't want them to stick out, so I'm not going to really paint them. I think they're pretty good the way they are. All right, anyways. So there's that. Let's okay. So we're just gonna cheat a little on the hand back here. See how we didn't get that at all? We're just gonna. You can see it blends pretty well. Like you couldn't even tell that's not different from that. They're very other than the mold line that's Chibas that's in the middle of that. Geez, mold lines. Okay. The Aphrodite looks like this girl I'm seeing thick in the right places. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's do some Archelian green. So we're going to go with more of like an ocean vibe on this Aphrodite. You have to be careful because it's a contrast paint, and contrast paints are very unforgiving. It's a problem with contrast paints. They're super duper unforgiving. And I'm trying to paint this precision with a camera in my face. But it's okay. We'll get it. I don't want anything really pooling. And I'm gonna do the robe there. Should I use P3 ink as a wash on the gold? If so, black or brown? If you're gonna wash the gold, it depends. What you would use a P3 brown ink. I would actually, if you want a burnished look on the gold, Sean, you're gonna want something reddish in tone. So you could use the brown, but maybe mix, if you have red ink, mix some red in with it. That's what I would say. Sometimes you shade gold with black, but a lot of times I prefer to just use something reddish brown. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna being all tight right here. Okay, there you go. So you got a nice border there. They can't keep that line very straight because of the way it's like the sculpt gets crusty right there. It kind of sucks, but oh well. There's just that's the one downside. These are fantastic models. These are like some of the best single piece PVC models I've ever painted in my life. But there's just going to be places that aren't great on the model. You know what you can use, Sean, if you've base coated that the gold parts of that model, you can use contrast paint to burnish the gold. You can use, I like Fire Slayer flesh because it's got a good amount of red in it. But you can also use Gilliman flesh. I use Gilliman flesh almost as often, well, actually about as often as I use Fire Slayer flesh. And that's also very good. I used Fire Slayer flesh on my Bellerophon, and give it a nice like ruddy burnished tone. What do you guys think of this Archelian green? It gives it, to me, this gives it a really nice, it really does give it that, ooh, shoot, that oceanic type look. You may try it. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you. That's just, I'm just sharing what works for me, what I've done. What I like about this Archelian green, as you can see, it does not need much, right? It's a pretty color and it covers very well. And despite the fact that it's a contrast paint and has very short working time, you can get a good even coat down. But again, it's like that same technique. Maintain a wet edge. You should actually be brushing from top to bottom. But as long as you're going that one direction, you're cool. All right. Slight mistake back here. Okay. All right. So yeah, I also had a pretty relaxing Sunday. Went and had a little brunch with my mother-in-law, and Octavius went out and caught himself a praying mantis while we were out there, which was super cool. And he spent the morning hanging out with his praying mantis. He named him Tyler. Then I explained to my son that Tyler needs to go out and make some babies and try not to get eaten by the female praying mantis that's going to be his baby mama, because that's been known to happen. Being a male praying mantis or a male spider, yeah, that's rough. So males, tend to have it pretty good in most of the mammal species. Let's be real. But males in the insect world and the arachnids can have it rough, right? They might find their Aphrodite here and be all down for it, right? And she's into it too. And then she will eat his head Like, rip his head off and eat it right in the middle of the act, because that's what mantises do. In fact, some scientists believe that when she does this, that it actually helps stimulate the male one final time to get all of his gametes out. Okay, I'm going to use the scientific term so that YouTube doesn't get mad at me. He's got to get his gametes out, get them into the world. And yes, I don't know how the researchers have come to this sort of belief, but they do believe that ripping his head off in the middle of it helps stimulate that final action there. I guess the lesson, boys and girls, is don't be a male praying mantis. Be happy you're a male human. Man, I cannot get that last little angle in there. Okay, I think I got it. Or I got enough of it. Okay. Let's do the blades. So we're going to do the blades. Actually, I kind of want to use... I do want to use some color shift paints because I've been using color shift. It's kind of a theme for this set, is that I use a lot of color shift paints, particularly on the gods, because they're gods. God should have fancy things. So I'm going to paint the blades black, which I usually paint them Basilicanum gray, but we're going to paint these blades black. Oh man, I didn't even get... Oh, that's a bad angle there. Hold on. Oh man, how am I going to get back there? Like this. I'm just going to bend that blade a little bit while I do this. Get back there. Okay. There we go. There, it worked. I'm just having too much fun painting her. Let's be real. It's very fun painting this model. Okay. And I don't like that she has this blade here. The one next to her head bothers me. I think it may be a reference to the Queen of Hearts. You know how the King of Hearts, or sometimes the Queen of Hearts, on a deck of cards looks like they're thrusting their sword into their own head. I do not like that about this model. Pretty much like every other thing about this model. Just not that. Okay. Right, where's that sword even, where does it even rest? It's back there somewhere. And then let's do, we still love you, Aphrodite. It worked. Awesome. Okay. What color should these gems be? I'm thinking blue or green. Blue would be really nice. They would kind of blend in. Green probably give you a little bit of, I don't know. Could also do, I think it needs to be green. I don't know. I don't know, man. I do really like Talisar blue. Let's try some Talisar blue. Right? Doesn't work, whatever. It's just paint. I mean, it's nice. It really does give you a really strong ocean theme. And that blue's pretty cool. I guess I like the blue. And then we'll do all these little crystals in blue. You guys have any questions, comments, threats? Let me know. Okay. There you go. Very ornate. I think maybe on her head here, would it be too weird to go a different color across her head, or does that need to be blue also? I mean, I could go green, but no, I think I will. I think I'm going to stay with blue. We're just going to really theme this model. Okay, I do like that. Overall, I do like this model. Okay. This is, I want to paint like 6 of these. These are super fun to paint. It's a very fun model to paint. No joke. I'm glad I like save the best sculpts for the very end of these projects, and it's always so good. It's always so good at the end. You have fun, and you're ready to take on the next project, which I definitely will need to be. Let's get physical. I don't know. Let's see. Where the? Looking for this color shift, this bright gold brown, that's really nice. I could do that, or I could do, again, if I go super ocean theme, I could go blue on the blades. It's kind of nice. Maybe I do that. Might as well, dude. Whatever. We're just going for it, man. You can't stop me. This is my set. What I will paint. Green, blue, violet. That's a cool one. What about, there was like a no, that super intense blue kind of sucks. So we'll do that. And then I'll use this on some of the gold. All right. So green, blue, violet on the blades. And it's good because I don't want to draw too much attention to the blades of the model. There's already a lot of dazzling stuff to look at on her. And we've got to highlight her robe and all that good stuff now. Okay. And just a little bit of this. On the gold parts. I'll hit Bellerophon with a little bit of it as well. Right, so yeah, she'll have a little bit of pink on her. Just a little bit. But most people won't see it. It's too subtle. It's super cool. All right, I like it. Let's keep going. Okay. Time to highlight the turquoise portions here. So we're gonna do. So now, once you get to this stage of painting, it's basically all you, and you get to have as much fun as you like, because the hard part is over. I'll use this marine teal. Teal or turquoise? Turquoise would give me a darker look, which is a nice little contrast against the skin. But let's do teal. Teal's a little, this teal's a little dull. See if the turquoise gets me anything. We didn't answer we gotta talk about the question of the day. Let me get some of this base coat down and then we'll talk about it, guys. I don't recall what the question of the day was. So if anybody knows the question of the day, go ahead and let me know in the chat. This was not bad. It's turquoise. It's giving it a nice, it's going to give this a more even finish, but I still have to highlight with a different color. I can highlight with like an aquamarine tip color. Okay. All right. Let's look at the question of the day. Okay. Head over to the Discord. And then let's go to War Boss Tai. Let's go to rules. All right. Oh, it keeps downloading. All right, day 19. Day 19. You travel back to any point in history and spend an entire day there. Where would you go? What would you want to see and do? Oh, man. I don't like these types of questions. I don't know. Everybody was like, I'm going to go and defeat Hitler. I know. I'm going to visit Jesus and see if that was a real... I'm going to talk to George Washington. Man, I don't want the past. I don't know. Oh, you know, mine would suck. It would be like... We'd go back to like 1984 and spend the day watching cartoons. G.I. Joe and Transformers and, you know, I'd watch Goonies in a theater. You know, I would... my answer sucks, guys. Sorry. But I liked all that stuff, so I would do that. I don't need to change history. I just want to enjoy it. Go ahead and scream at me in the comments if you disagree. You want me to come up with something better. I would defeat the Spanish flu. Maybe, how about this? How about this? I would go back to December of 2019 and tell everyone to get into their homes right now. Bar travel right now. And somebody go and stop some Chinese people from eating pangolins and bats. And how about that? That's what I would... Okay, there you go. That's my answer. That's my answer question of the day. I would do that. I would find this George Floyd guy and I'd you know, exchange his 20 for a regular $20 bill. And then I go find the stupid cop, tell his partners, like, abandon this guy immediately. He's a piece of shit. That's how, okay. I would do one of those two. Actually, I would do both of those things because I could go back, you know, I could go back to November 2019. I would be seen as a crazy person for warning everybody about coronavirus. Man, I would buy a bunch of stock in Zoom. If you did that in China, yeah, if I did it in China, I would be doing that here in the United States. Be doing it here in the United States. You know, somebody would be trying to suicide me. I don't think they would stop me from preventing the George Floyd thing, though. I think I could prevent that one. But yeah, I'd also tell people, I would tell the ERs in New York to calm down on the respirators because they're killing people. And I'd tell Cuomo not to put COVID people in the nursing homes. Jeez, my answer It's going to piss everybody off, but that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Man, that's awful. But yeah. And we would get back to playing some real like Guild Ball and shit. That's what we would do. And we'd go to WHO and say, "Hey, Taiwan's got some shit figured out. You should pay attention." And they would hang up on me, bastards. They're already calling Susan at YouTube. Ban this play it painted guy. You asked me a question, man. That's what I would do. All right. Where did that light blue color go that I was going to use as a highlight? Is that the color? That is the color. Okay. Morpheus, know what happened and couldn't have happened any other way. Nope. That was a question of the day, dude. That's how I would answer it. Even if it was wrong, I would do it and figure out how I screwed up the world in an even worse way. Oh no. Now COVID-20 because we avoided COVID-19. Now SARS-CoV-3 comes out and it's worse than both of the other COVIDs combined. Thanks a lot, Play It Painted. But yeah, I would seriously do that. Not for any humanitarian benefit, just because I'm effing tired of it. I would do it just for that reason. I'm effing tired of this timeline. I want to play my damn miniature games. I want to hug the people that I want to hug. I want to do, I want to sit down and eat at my favorite restaurants. I want Soup Plantation to be back. I want my kids to be back in school. I don't want my friends going broke. I definitely don't want the governor telling me crap and people just freaking out over absolutely everything. And every item becoming a huge political debate. So yeah, I would. That's my answer. I would go back to November 2019 and tell people. I'm not saying they would listen to me, but I would at least give it that one chance. Right? I'm not the guy to. I've never been the guy to get out and stand on the soapbox or beat my drum over something. So maybe it makes an impact to somebody. But yeah, maybe it gets me thrown in prison. But then maybe it's not this big. Maybe it's not this. Maybe I don't try to save the world. You know what I mean? Like maybe I just pull all my friends in close and go, look, you guys, I'm not like this. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. We're all gonna go. We're gonna go to the store. We're gonna buy some supplies. We're gonna, we're gonna invest in Zoom. All of us are gonna buy stock in Zoom right now. We're going to not freak out about the mask shortage. We're not going to go on a respirator. We're going to go outside, spend time in the sun, get lots of vitamin D, get our immune systems up. And we're going to, we may be, for some of you that aren't working, like we're going to get you jobs in places that we know are going to still be up and running. That's what I'm saying, man. The world wouldn't listen to me, but maybe some of you guys would, right? If I said that. I don't know if I don't know. I mean, it would be a crazy thing to hear from me if it's like, I'm painting on stream in November 2019. I'm like, okay, here's how you paint skin, but really, everybody go out and buy, and I'd be like, yeah, and if you support the Second Amendment, go put in for your FSC and your gun license. Do it because you're gonna need it. Nah, but I would seriously go find that stupid piece of trash that started this whole thing, Mister. Yeah, I'm not even. I don't. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk about it. But yeah. So here's how you paint skin. Anyways, stupid question of the day, ruining my skin tutorial. But yeah, maybe you can't save the world, right? Maybe, like I said, maybe nobody would listen to me, but maybe my friends would. Maybe we would be just a little bit better off in the middle of all this. We would be all set. We'd be like, okay, here we go, we're ready. And then we know, oh, here's the next part of the script that's going to happen. Stay out of downtown areas for a while. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a little quick little highlight on the sand here. Any questions or comments, threats? Should be threats now that I told you guys what I would do if I can go. If I could turn back time, if I could do that. That's okay. Cool. Oh. Maybe I would just make sure we would all win the lottery. What if we just did that? What if I just said, you know what? Whatever's going to happen in the world is going to happen in the world. At least I'm going to give my friends and me a fighting chance. We're all going to win the lottery before this thing hits. Right? We're all going to be stupid rich before this thing hits. So we could just chill at home and paint. That's my answer. That's my answer that no one's going to freak out over. No one's going to scream or cry or, flip out over in the chat. Any comment? You would think. You'd be like, damn, how he know that? That's a crazy thing to predict. Then we would be investigated though, right? People would go, I think that Asian man invented COVID-19. I think he did it because he knew exactly what to do. And he didn't warn any of us. Then I would get in trouble for not warning people. They go, well, why didn't you warn anybody? I'm like, who listens to me? Nobody listens to me. That's rule one. Nobody listens to me. Kill me. I don't know. Maybe like I said though, the world. You guys might listen to me, but and especially after I won the lottery, and then I'd be like, okay, give it 2 weeks, and then you're gonna win. You know what I mean? You guys would listen to me like the first time. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna win this jackpot all by myself, and then like 2 weeks later, you're gonna hit one. Nelson, you're gonna hit one, and we're just gonna chill. We're gonna buy a bunch of property right here, outside of the city. We're gonna set it up like gaming tables and all this. We're going to make sure we're nowhere near any of the infection sites. Buy enough, supplies to deal, and just live and just be dope, right? Oh man, because we would forget it. Yeah, I would go back. I'm sorry. We thought this through. The stupid thing would be to try. I'm gonna save everybody and tell people, yeah, guys, there's a pandemic coming. And then, actually, you know that there was a YouTuber calling this out since November 2019. So they would go after him and not me. I love my plans. They would go after him and not me, and then we would be chilling, man. We'd be like up in the mountains somewhere. Nah, actually, we'd probably be here. We'd be in like Coto de Casa or something. You're like, hey, how'd you guys get this house? Won the lotto? Did you all quit your jobs? Yup. Actually, those of maybe just to be funny, you just keep your job and then you just get laid off, and the government, even though you're a multi-millionaire, the government would pay you based on your 2018 income plus 600. So you'd be like, I own $15 million and I get $1,700 a week. Cover it. Oh man. That's so good. That would be so dope. We would still be putting out YouTube videos and shit. Like, hey man, we're gonna play this Batman 3rd edition. Because everyone on the internet would be freaked out. Imagine us putting out a Batman video like in the late March when everybody's locked in. Everybody's locked in, and they're like, even Joe Rogan ain't having people, right? We're like, nah, we're gonna play this miniature game. How do you guys know you're not sick? How do you guys know? We like, man, we've been in this place since November. We prepared, man. There was no cases. We've been in this waiting for you idiots to go get yourself sick. Well, how come you didn't warn us? I'll just put up that other guy's YouTube video. He warned us, and we listened to him. Well, how'd you win all the lotto tickets? I'm like, I don't know. Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, he told us, because Hunter Biden is immune to everything, right? If we pin coronavirus on Hunter Biden, probably like 10 or 12 top news outlets, politicians, and billionaires would fall on the sword for Hunter Biden. Did I ever tell you guys what a freaking legend Hunter Biden is? He is worth nothing. He does nothing. He contributes nothing to society. And everybody's willing to fall on the sword and just, yeah, exactly. Hunter Biden told us. I can't be the only person that recognizes that the dude is a legend. Full on government corruption. Just in broad daylight. In broad daylight. The phone call is about Hunter Biden. The impeachment phone call is about Hunter Biden. Number of people that went after Hunter Biden. Okay? The guy's a legend. We can pin anything on him and he'll never get in trouble. Alright? I don't care what your political affiliation is. Can we for a minute just be impressed by this dude and how absolutely useless. He's just a valueless human being, okay? He doesn't know anything about energy. He can put on a suit and he can walk around. That's his job, okay? He's basically, it's like having a dog that stands upright, but in a dog who's completely immune to everything, right? I would blame George Floyd on Hunter Biden just so that nobody would get. That's the new plan, okay? We're all gonna get rich. We're all gonna go up in the mountains or whatever. We're gonna have our little compound. We're gonna do our gaming, And if anyone asks, this was all Hunter Biden's fault. And the news media, the reporters will look at us and turn and walk away. They will go, oh, I'm like, yeah, no, this is all about Hunter Biden. Oh, who? And they would, I didn't hear that. And they would just keep, they're like, hey, what do you mean? You guys knew about coronavirus. Who did? Oh, it was Hunter Biden. Oh, what? And they would just be, they would just leave. Oh, man. Did, I'm, am I wrong? Am I wrong? You could totally do that. Wow. We could do a deep fake video. We would do a deep fake video where Hunter Biden causes all of this, all the problems, and he'll never get blamed for any of it. You know, this is they would put Hunter Biden on the Pegasus. It's I I'm here to. What are you here to do? Oh, I got caught stealing. Oh, never mind. Yes, immune to everything. The dude is a legend. Okay, prove me wrong. He's a legend. He will never get in trouble for anything. Dude could have been not on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein 27 times. Dude could be the pilot of Jeffrey Epstein's plane and would not get in trouble. Kill me. Anyway. Alright. We'll calm down. Jeez. Just trying to teach people how to paint skin. Stupid question of the day. Had to get me talking about stuff. Anyways. Yeah. Let's go ahead and seal these because we're done, dude. Do you not love her? I love her. I think she's great. I think she's great. I love her. Do you love her? I love her. All right, let's get them all sealed up. Because you know what's up next? I'm going to show you. Well, no, let's spray. All right, you just have to deal with my noisy airbrush here for a second. I'm going to spray these, guys. I'm going to spray these off camera because I don't want the sealer to hit the lens of the camera. This stuff does kind of go places. All right. So currently, what am I using for sealer? This MIG satin. I'm almost out. I'm gonna blow through this, and then I have another bottle here. This stuff is awesome though, because you just go straight into your airbrush without a care in the world. When I use the Vallejo stuff, I have to thin it because it's not designed for airbrush. This is designed specifically for airbrush use. So, all right. So let's spray Aphrodite here. That's all we got to do. Did you see how I just solved? I didn't solve the world's problems, guys, but I solved ours. I solved our problems. And our problems are important because it's about playing miniature games and having time to paint and not having time for this bullshit. Okay? It's important stuff. This model is just weird. I don't know what she's just screaming at me. She looks like Jerry Halliwell. Yo, tell you what I want, what I really, really want. She's just mad. That's not social distancing. All right. And we got Man, I am almost out. Blown through it. I do want to show you guys the next project that's coming up because it is so dope. Nelson knows what it is. And this is going to be a multi-night. This is going to be a multi-night project, so. How cool would that be if they actually blamed coronavirus on Hunter Biden, though? What if, for all we know, what if he was the original carrier? He ate pangolin. He was in China on another free job that he had. I'm an advisor to this virology lab in Wuhan. And he goes to the market and eats some pangolin. we would surely give him a pass. We would surely give him a pass. I think that's it, dude. Alright, I think we fired it all off. Let's clean this. And then I'll preview the next project. Man. Everyone else in the challenge is gonna have some noble thing. I would go back and defeat Mussolini and Hitler, and I'd choke out Stalin. Everyone's going back, and I would go back. Somebody's gonna say, I would go back to Games Workshop many years ago and tell them to stop charging so much for Space Marines. So that you'll get answers like that, and then I'm gonna be like, hey man, I'm gonna get all my boys rich so that we're ready for coronavirus. And we could game. And we would make sure that Hunter Biden got blamed for this. That way, nobody would get blamed for it. If Hunter Biden did it, nobody gets blamed for it. If there's one thing that we know, one universal truth that we have to cling to right now, it's that. Alright. Okay, fine. I'll lay off the Hunter Biden jokes. You know it's funny. Okay, next up, we got a commission. We got a Batman commission. All right, and that commission is Birds of Prey, yo. Birds of Prey. Look at this. Oh, I still hate these night model bases. They still. Oh, I should tell you. Okay, so this is Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. I hate her outfit. Truth be told, I hate her outfit, and they painted all those little checks. I don't know if I'm going to do that. This is Huntress, I guess, and she's all in black. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. I know I'm going to make people mad. Man, this is Huntress, all right? That's Huntress. Oh, this is an emo kid with a crossbow. This is Huntress. Okay? I know you guys are getting mad. You're getting mad. It's okay. I like this sculpt, actually. I do like this Black Canary sculpt. It's pretty nice. I like it. That I like. Okay, and then you get this is Mendoza, I believe, and also less inspired by that. And then I forget her name. You know, she's wearing a hoodie. Yeah, forget her. She's just, yeah. And we got a little doggo, right? Oh, doggo. And we got, I like this sculpt a lot. Now we're going to get in. Oh, gotta be careful carrying this stuff. I don't want to break anything. So that is the base for Oracle. So here's Oracle, which is a pretty cool, like that's a pretty cool model right there. He didn't attach this to the base, so I may actually just take advantage of that fact and paint them separately. And then now we're into the really fun stuff. Okay, the really fun stuff, guys. This is a big commission, so this is going to take a little while. Look at this katana. Oh my god! Oh my god! I need the katana. Oh shoot! Speaking of which, I'm going to tell him, please, and tell Chris, please add katana, please, because he's going to get me. Can you add Lady Shiva and or katana? Let's ask. Because I need those. I need those. We'll take a picture of the butcher. Good, cool. Put it in the Discord. Look at this miniature. Look at how great that is. It's so good. It's so good. And then then we also got, so we're this obviously Birds of Prey, like full blown team here. And then you got Feed Me Seymour. It just keeps getting better, people. It just keeps getting better. Because then finally you got the main event right here. You know her, you love her. Got that Quinn, you get that Poison Ivy. So full Birds of Prey. Pretty hot stuff, guys. I'm totally excited. That's why I had to finish Mythic Battles Pantheon, because I'm like amped to get this stuff going. It's going to be so good. All right. Anyways, we'll give it another couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions, comments, threats, yes, still accepting threats at this hour. You know, for my friends, please know that just be on the lookout if I get suicided for my answer to the question of the day. Just please understand. But yeah, dope commission, man. Excited for it. We're gonna go. I don't know. My Batwoman ended up in here. I don't know why she did, but she's there. Let's let's break these guys back out. Here we go. So once again, the last of Mythic Battles Pantheon Pandora box. Super Medusa Demonette Scorpion. And you got Bellerophon, who is just so dope. So dope. And you got the Fiery Phoenix. Dun, 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 dun. That's very fun. See, that's from Battle of the Planets or Gatchaman. Then you got this lady just screaming, "Hey!" Just her. And then you got an ogre pointing at something. Hey! And that. And then finally, you got our girl. You know her, you love her. We did her skin. So her skin is real It's real subtle. Just you can see the little crease there. Just real soft. Little shadow there. Um, yeah, yeah, love her. She's so great. Like that. This was worth the whole doing that whole project. Just sculpts like that. So good. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys. Yeah, be safe out there, everybody. Don't listen to me. Like, don't take me seriously. Okay? I, like, have a good laugh with me, but know that if I get suicided, that you know who to go after. If I get suicided. Anyways, have a good night, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.